Hey, everybody, Jim Cummings here. And if Tigger were here, he'd say, thanks, everybody, for bouncing on in here and enjoying the show. But before we go, I want you to do me a small favor. Hit like, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying the show. Now, speaking of enjoying the show, enjoy the show.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Toon'd In with Jim Cummings. I'm producer Chris, joined as always by the legend himself, Mr. Jim Cummings. How are you doing today, sir?
It's another day in paradise.
Absolutely, it sure is. And we have another special guest for you guys today, none other than Jay Mandyam. How are you doing today, sir? Thank you for being here.
What's going on?
Yes.
Tuned In audience, Jim Cummings, Chris Judge.
So glad you're here. Thank you.
I'm happy to be here. It's an honor and a pleasure to see the face of the voice of my childhood.
Ah, yes. Well, that's what you get for being so young. The way I'm not.
So, Jim.
Well, thank you. Glad to have you, man.
Is it time to get the podcast started? Should I say, let's get dangerous?
Let's get dangerous. That's how it's said. All right. Don't try that at home, especially if you're better than me. But yeah, yes, indeed. That's one of my, do you have a catchphrase? We have to get you a catchphrase.
I don't have a catchphrase as much as a motto, so to speak. When I was when I was in college, there was a period of my life where I was just having like terrible luck, and there was a girl I was really into, and every day I would just kind of like tell her about my day, and I would like vent to her, and it was sort of like every day was God hates Jay day, and so my motto at the time was like my friends would be like, oh, it's another God hates Jay story, but like I would tell this girl who I was into like what was going on my day, and my friends would be like, you sound like Eeyore to this girl. Like I would show up and they would all make fun of me. They'd be like, hey, Pooh.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God. And then you said, thanks for noticing me.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Wow. Well, I get Pooh and Tigger a lot, but not so much Eeyore.
Yeah, no Eeyore. No Eeyore fans. I guess I'm a real life Eeyore.
Wow, that's not bad. You got something to fall back on or forward on. Jesus.
Well, I do have big ears, big floppy ears.
That's true. Well, I'm trying. What do you think? That's Dumbo.
Yeah, that was my nickname as a kid. Dumbo was my nickname as a
Really?
kid.
No,
yeah.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Jesus. I'm scoring left and right over here.
Kids can be so mean. I swear kids can be meaner than adults. They just have no filter.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's what builds character. Like, I think when they were on the anti-bullying campaign, I was like, well, yeah, I hate the bullies, but if it wasn't for all the people who made me feel like crap when I was in high school, I wouldn't be motivated to be a good comedian now to like show them up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, boy, ain't that the truth. See, I'm that way too, and I don't know if that's good or bad, but I've always been motivated by negative stuff. You're never gonna. No, you're not gonna. No. You're gonna work in a steel mill from Youngstown, Ohio, and I did work in a steel mill, but thank God it was a long time ago. But it was always like, no, you're gonna do what? What are you gonna do? No, you're not. No. Just go learn a trade, be a carpenter. How about that? It was good enough for Jesus' dad. You should be fine. But so are you enforced by negative criticism?
I think spite is a great motivator.
Spite, yeah.
Spite. Yeah. People tell you. I think I did this thing called the Landmark Forum once, and it's like a 3-day seminar, and they kind of like try to encourage you to get over your trauma and
Were you allowed to go to the bathroom?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because that was in another movie. I think you had to sit through 3 days. Can't go to the bathroom.
No, they allowed you to do that. It's like all about trying to get over your trauma and stuff. Yeah. And I remember I'm sitting there being like, like I was trying to use spite as my motivator. Like, no, that's the opposite of what we're trying to do. We don't want you to use that to motivate you to do better in life. And
whatever works.
Yeah.
I think it takes like a thick skin and a certain type of personality, though. It's not everybody who can use that to power their fuel, so to speak. I think that's we're speaking for. I'm speaking for the unsung heroes right now. Don't give up.
That's right. Yeah. We'll tell you when to give up.
Yeah, let your spite drive you.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, but I was always motivated by the negativity of people saying, "No, you'll never do this. You'll never do that." You know, because it's more fun.
Yeah, and a lot of what this industry is, I've realized, is turning one person's no into somebody else's yes.
Oh, that's good. That sounds like that's a damn fine bumper sticker.
Cool. Let's merch that. Let's trademark that.
Yeah.
Go to the Toon'd In store.
That's right. That's right. Did you always know
that I wanted to be a comedian? I think subconsciously, yes. So when I was young, like my favorite movie of all time is Back to the Future, and when I was I can remember as early as like 3 or 4 years old saying I want to be a movie star like Michael J. Fox, and there was a period when my mom was like, when I was like in the 3rd or 4th grade, my mom was taking me to like auditions and stuff, and I like auditioned for Wishbone on PBS and like some other stuff, and I think I did an episode of Wishbone and I hated it. I just hated the experience of like multiple takes and constantly resetting and I think I'm glad I did it because it made me realize I didn't like that.
Yeah.
But I grew up watching sitcoms with my dad. And my dad would always try to predict the next joke in the show.
Oh, yeah.
And usually he would get it right. And then he would be like, I should have been a script writer. And so
was he? Did he?
No, my dad was an electrical engineering professor, you know?
Oh, that's pretty funny.
I mean, my dad had a great wit. He had he loved kind of playing practical jokes on people and messing with my cousins and stuff. But I think like just that experience of watching the sitcoms with my dad did some kind of imprint on me of like, well, maybe I don't want to be an actor, but maybe doing something where I can be in control and making people laugh is the thing I want to do. And when I was growing up, all the sitcoms were like Seinfeld, Mad About You, Home Improvement, Ellen. So I thought you had to be a stand-up comedian to have your own sitcom. So when I was in the 8th grade, I said, okay, I'm going to become a stand-up comedian. I'm going to get my own sitcom, and I'm going to, make my dad laugh on TV. Like that seemed to be something that was important to me.
Yeah. That's important to a lot of people, making your dad laugh.
Yeah. And the kind of cool thing about the sitcom compared to like when I was doing Wishbone is most of these sitcoms are done in front of a live studio audience, and they don't do more than like 3 takes per scene. So like there was that appealing thing to me of like, I don't have to do 6 takes. There's not, okay, we did 4 takes at this setup. Now we're going to do it again, another 8 takes in this other setup. And there was something about that sort of like kind of liveness about it.
Yeah, I agree. Were you in like, when I was a kid, I always wanted to be in plays and everything. It was a great way to meet girls, And,
I was in my, I was the lead in my 4th grade play, and it was like the music teacher / theater teacher or whatever. She went up to my mom and she said, Jay's always such a quiet kid, but when he's on stage, I see him come alive. And that's what led my mom to like start taking me out on auditions when I was younger, is because she thought that, if that's what's unlocking him, maybe this might be interesting for him. But,
yeah. Wow, that was good. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. So you can blame my mom.
Yeah, that's right.
Blame my mom, blame my dad.
I want to ask your opinion on sitcoms because you seem passionate about them.
I love sitcoms.
What do you think happened to sitcoms? I swear, like, they kind of just like vanished from our cultural zeitgeist.
I blame... this is me personally. I blame Regis Philbin and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I think Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, when that came on in 98 or 99, I think that killed the sitcom. I think that killed primetime television as we know it, because that started that whole trend.
Wait, can you expand? Why?
Well, Regis Philbin, he's a well-known assassin.
Because that goes way farther back than I would have expected the answer to be.
Yeah, well, there was, so when Who Wants to Be a Millionaire came on, I think it was like summer of 98 or summer of 99. It was like a phenomenon for a week. And then
for a week, a whole week, that long?
It was like, because it was a limited thing. It wasn't supposed to be a whole trendsetter, and then it just became this huge thing. People were tuning in. I don't think anybody had won the $1 million yet, so people were like, "What?" It was almost like the '50s all over again, where people were watching primetime game shows like that. And so then that created this kind of rush of like, oh, we're gonna do more of this game show type of content. So like Fox started doing. They had the Chuck Woolery show, Greed, and then
Survivor,
and then Survivor eventually came about.
American
but like there
Idol.
was a point where ABC gutted their schedule to make room for more episodes of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. There was like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was on like 4 times a week at one point. So they just canceled like all these sitcoms and stuff. And then and then Survivor took over, and then that became a huge thing. And then it was just this. Then it transformed from like game shows to like reality shows, and now we got Big Brother and all these other things. And I think that's kind of I'd say Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was the first domino.
To counter your point, though, then also there was kind of like a resurgence, which I know you were a part of. Modern Family, there was the Modern Family, Big Bang Theory.
After that era of the game shows kind of taking over primetime television, I think like around 05-ish, the single camera comedy started to take over in terms of primetime television. And then also there was like a period where a lot of these single camera comedies on network TV were like improvised, kind of like, because Curb was such a phenomenon. So like everyone was trying to capitalize on Curb, but you could kind of, there were shows that played with the single camera format before The Office, but I think The Office was the sort of like groundbreaker in terms of single cameras.
That's for sure.
I see. So you're making that distinction between sitcoms that are single camera and live audience, multicam. Yeah. Yeah. And what was your experience like working on Modern Family? Modern
Family, it was, so I'd gone in for that. I'd gone into audition for that show a lot because the casting director liked me, and he was confident that and he would bring me in for everything, like huge guest star roles, like multiple recurring, and
nice.
Small co-stars. Like there was no part big or small he wouldn't bring me in for, and this one, it was a small thing, but it was 2 scenes, but they had they blacked out the second scene. But like when you prepare for an audition, you read all the pages they send you, just so you know.
Sure.
And I'm in the audition, and I do the one scene with my lines, and then the writer producer of the episode is in the room, and he says, "Can you do the second scene?" And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then the casting director's like, second scene? What second scene? And I'm like, you exit out. That's why you don't think there's a second scene. So but because I did the prep work, I knew what it was. And there were no lines, but the scene was, I try to jump out a window and somebody pulls me back in. And so I stood up on a chair and I really tried like I was in the moment to jump out the window, and I think that's what landed me the role, is because I did that. So the joke I make about that is like, yeah, I tried to commit suicide. No acting required.
Yeah, yeah. But you survived.
I did.
But you failed actually at committing suicide.
The most absurd thing about this, and I guess I can say this because it's been 8 years since I did that show. I was in my 30s and I'm playing a senior in college.
Okay. Well, good.
That's like a compliment, right?
The fact that you can get away with it.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
That is, I look back at that, I was like, this is absurd. People believed I went to college with Ariel Winter in my 30s.
Wow. Sure. Why not? Wow. People believe that I, was a grandfather in college. You're doing fine. That's great. That's nothing wrong with that.
What's the most out of character that you've had to play, Jim?
Oh gosh, a tall guy. I played Goliath once.
Yeah,
I actually did. I was one of my very first jobs. I got stoned.
Was it the claymation one?
No, it was Kingdom Chums or something. I don't know, something with Kingdom. It was biblically based. No shit. But no, David and Goliath. No, really, yeah. But yeah, so I got my first job. One of my very first jobs, I got to die. So
I almost died, and you actually died.
I actually died. Yes. Yeah, it was hard. Have you ever died on camera?
No, but they say if in a horror film, if you die in a doorway, right?
Die in a doorway.
They say die in a doorway because that way they have to use you in the next scene.
That's funny. I've never heard that.
That's sage advice.
I've died like 5 times on camera. They love murdering me. If I've died to aliens,
well, that's true. I know.
Vampires, stabbings.
Yeah. I didn't
Did
die.
Billy Zane kill you?
Billy Zane. Oh, I actually don't know if we can talk about that.
What's your NDA?
Who? Billy who?
What are you in Back to the Future 4?
Yeah.
Are you Titanic 2?
Yeah, Titanic 2. Oh, God. Well, as long as we're not on the Titanic today. Well, so what's happening? What's going to be the next thing for you, man? Where are you off to?
I'm on the road as a comic.
Yeah.
There's a few comics I open for regularly, and then I did shoot my own sitcom pilot a few years ago, so I'm trying to peddle that. I did 4 cameras in front of a live studio audience.
Right on.
I always wanted to have my own sitcom. I never had the opportunity, so I said I'm going to go out there and make my own.
Did you do it here in LA?
Good for you.
I did. I shot it on a soundstage at USC. There was they had audience risers for about 60 people. I had 60 people in the audience.
That must have been a great feeling.
I loved it. It was just for a day I had my own sitcom.
Yeah, no kidding.
I called in every favor I had. My friend Roger, who's a professional audience warm-up guy, did 2 Broke Girls and Will and Grace. He came in and did the audience warm-up for me.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Is that a bucket lister?
I think doing my own series for like 9 years would be the bucket lister. But,
Okay, there you go.
But at some point you just kind of have to not be Eeyore and take the victory. Like for one day, I was a showrunner and lead on my own sitcom, so I can take that to the grave.
And isn't that energy, like, I've never done a sitcom, but I've like produced short films and music videos and stuff, and I love that creative energy when it's just like.
I tell you what, like there was a day during rehearsal when the first AD came up to me and he's like, this beat isn't working for me. And then all of us, like everybody jumped in to try and figure out what the fix was. Like that, it was the ADs, the PAs, the writers, the cast. And that to me was so much fun of everyone trying to figure out what the fix is. And then when we figured out what the beat was, that ended up being my favorite beat in the whole show. Cause and it was like, I think maybe I loved that beat so much is because we all came up with it together. It wasn't like, oh, I wrote this and it worked. That to me was the fun of it. And then also like during rehearsal, I got to see what the cast was capable of. And I would go and rewrite the script to like lean into their
tailor
strengths.
it to them.
Yeah. And there was one beat I remember I wrote for this guy, Josh Brenner, who played my best friend on the pilot. He was on Silicon Valley and a bunch of stuff. So Josh, you give that guy anything, he can land it. And there was this one gag I came up with. It was very wordy, but I knew if he landed it, he would get an applause break. And when I saw him do it in rehearsal, I was like, oh, he's going to get that applause break. And I told the other actor in the scene, I said, hold on your next line when he does this because he will get an applause break. And seeing him get the applause break with the audience was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Well, do you see a break coming up here? Are we landing yet? Say yes. We're doing fine. Okay, good. Wow. That's awesome.
Jim, you could speak to that collaborative effort, when like you talk about all the time how when you guys record voices ensemble, in the same room. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot better. I don't know how much you have done of that.
I was telling Chris before we started. I used to study with Gordon Hunt, and
wow.
And Gordon, at Hanna-Barbera, that was his thing, was doing those shows like they were a radio play. And
that's great.
That's like I'm always fascinated with that era of animation when they were doing the radio play style.
What a great guy! Yeah, he was just a wonderful guy.
Did you work with him?
Tons of times. Yeah, many times. Yeah. Good old Hanna-Barbera. Good old Hanna-Barbera.
What was it that he brought to that?
Well, he was a stage director. He was a director. He worked he directed at the Amundsen Theater, and that was his original. That was his first love, and he enjoyed. And I like this too. Do the whole cast together. And that way you're actually directing something. You're not just giving something, all right, do it better, faster, more talent, just flying solo. And I'm sure you're the same way. We're all the same way. We feed off each other's energy.
Yeah.
And it's better. It's just better. The audience knows it. Everybody feels it. And when we all went to, and I guess COVID didn't help, but when we all went to just flying solo, I didn't like it as much.
Yeah, I get that. I was talking with Larry Wilmore a few weeks ago, and he was saying when they were doing the PJs with Eddie Murphy, they would Larry would be on a T1 line while Eddie's in his trailer doing Dr. Dolittle, and he'd maybe get one take with Eddie for the PJs, and like he said he was hard. He would have to be sly about how he could direct him because he knew Eddie wouldn't give him more than one take, and it's like,
wow,
dang.
Oh, that's rough. Nope, I already did it. You're done. Ooh. Well, if you're Eddie Murphy, you can do that.
Yeah, but then also, I mean, I love the show and I think it's hilarious, but at the same time, like imagine how much more hilarious would it have been if they were all in the same room together.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and I think it just comes from being in plays too. I think you develop that. You play off each other. Acting is reacting, and yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
Cool. Were there any comedians that you looked up to growing up, or was it more emphasis on the sitcoms?
I studied, like, once I made that decision of I'm going to be a comedian, get a sitcom, I studied comedy, just in general. There was no genre of comedy that was out of bounds for me.
Who are you here? Your
So
heroes?
my favorite comedian of all time, and I'm going to say this comedically, I think he is the best comedian to walk this planet. It is Bill Cosby. And the way he can manipulate an audience is fascinating to watch.
Yeah.
He's so
I
good.
had all his albums.
Yeah.
Coming up. Him and the Smothers Brothers for some reason.
Oh, I was on a big Smothers Brothers kick lately. You know what it was? After Colbert got canceled, I picked up this book on the Smothers Brothers and started reading it because I was like, this seems very familiar, what's going on with Colbert. And it really does echo what happened to the Smothers Brothers.
What happened to the Smothers Brothers?
They got knocked off for being irreverent, or
it was basically they were protesting the war in Vietnam, and they were taking jabs at Nixon, and Nixon didn't like that. So Nixon, there was I think several CBS stations were up for license renewals, and Nixon kind of got the FCC to be like, hey, we're not going to renew your license if you keep the Smothers Brothers on the air.
Nixed by Nixon. Wow. It's funny how you used to be able to get canceled for the political views. Remember the Dixie Chicks?
Yeah.
Remember the Dixie Chicks?
Yeah.
And they were like criticizing George Bush?
Yeah.
Is that what it was? Yeah,
and then weren't they like burning their CDs in the streets?
Yeah, and then Michael Moore, when he won his Oscar, his sort of joke during his speech, because he was getting booed during his acceptance speech, but he was trying to win him back with a joke, and he said, when the Dixie Chicks are against you, you've lost. That was
wow. Yeah. Oh, my God. Michael Moore, I hadn't thought of him in a long time. I remember seeing that one thing he did with Charlton Heston.
Yeah.
Going back and forth.
That's what he won the Oscar for, Bowling for Columbine.
Yeah. And it was an impossible thing because the camera's looking up at Charlton Heston. There's no one standing behind him. Then the camera's looking down from Charlton Heston at Michael Moore, and there was no one standing behind him. So there were invisible cameramen on both. You never saw a cameraman.
Yeah.
But they were shooting back and forth between them. It was like, okay, am I the only one noticing this? Tech, help, something. Yeah, I smell bullshit.
They used After Effects to take out all the cameramen digitally.
Yeah, there you go.
You recently worked on Happy Gilmore too.
I did.
What was that experience? Did you get to meet Adam Sandler?
Yeah, no, I had a lot of downtime with Adam. Adam's the one who gave me the role, essentially.
He seems like the coolest person ever. You got to tell us about him.
He's a sweetheart. I love that dude. So I met Adam because I was performing at the Improv one night, and I was about to leave, and then the manager of the Improv was like, "Hey, can you go back in the showroom for like 10 minutes and just watch the show?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And what I realized what was going on is there was nobody in the room. So she was trying to recruit people to go into the room because Sandler was about to go on stage. So she wanted him to have an audience. So I watched Adam's set, and I just scribbled down some tags for him, and I intercepted him when he got off stage. I said, "Hey, I wrote some."
What are tags?
Tags are like they're like additional punchlines for his jokes.
Oh, okay.
So I intercepted him and said, "Hey, I wrote some tags for you if you want to hear them." And he goes, "You wrote jokes for me?" Yeah. And he pulled me into a separate room, and I pitched him the jokes, and he seemed to like them. And he said, "Hey, can I hire you to write some stuff for me?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I gave him my number, and I saw him store
Wait. Pause. Adam Sandler takes you aside. Hey, can you write some jokes for me? And you're just like, yeah, sure. Yeah,
wow.
Sure. This happens every day.
What's going on at the time?
How are you not freaking out? Like, oh man, that's got to be like such a high praise as a comedian, no?
It was, well, okay, because here's the thing. I have, at that point in my career, there was a lot of comics who'd promised to do stuff for me, and nothing ever came to fruition.
So you're kind of jaded.
So not necessarily jaded. I knew not to expect anything. And so he took my number down, and my name's spelled Jay, but I saw him store my number in his phone as Jae. The next day, I went back to Dallas because I was visiting my parents for something, and I told my parents about what happened. And my mom said, "Oh, Adam Sandler is never gonna call you. All these people promise you things. No one ever does anything." And I get a text message that night, and it says, "Hey, Joe, it's Sandman. Can I still hire you to write some stuff for me?" And I assume his phone auto-corrected Jae to Joe.
Yeah.
So I showed my mom. I said, "Look, Ma, you said Adam Sandler's never going to call. He just texted me." And she read it, and she said, "He's not looking for you. He's looking for Joe."
Yes. Oh, thanks, Mom. Let's get that arrow out of your neck.
Yeah.
So you write some jokes for him, and then fast forward, Happy Gilmore 2
so
comes around.
I wrote some stuff for his first Netflix special, and that was a really hard process. He is the hardest person I've ever had to write for, because my mind is very linear and very grounded, and he thinks in such an abstract way that I would just scribble down every goofy thought I had, and I would pitch it to him. And most of them he would reject, but then some of them he would glom onto, and I'd be like, "Really? That's the one you liked? Oh, okay." And so I could never gauge him. I could never figure out his style of humor. The one thing I realized that was sort of my asset with him is I would watch him a lot. And when I would watch him, I could see the worlds that he's building. And when I'm in his world, I can see, oh, well, if this is true, then this would also be true in that world. And so I was able to kind of pitch him tags based on the stuff he's already set up. But I was not good at like creating jokes for him.
That's interesting. It's so, the idea of being a comedy writer to me is just amazing. I think it's the stuff of genius, because how do you just, create it out of thin air? I tend to just ad-lib something, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But the idea of sitting down and just focusing on, I'm going to write something, it's going to be funny, it's going to be cheers, or it's going to,
Well, that's the thing is
it's crazy.
You don't know until you put it in front of people.
Yeah. And you always knew that you were going to be doing this, or
I knew I was going to try at least.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, because I think the earlier the bug hits you, the better. You have a longer time to gear up for it.
Yeah, and I mean, I just studied comedy. Like I studied 70s comedy. Like I listened to Freddie Prinze Sr.'s album when I was in the 8th grade. I listened to all the Cosby stuff. I listened, I would watch original Kings of Comedy. I would watch Def Jam. I just looked at it as a spectrum, and you had to watch the whole thing. And there was a comic named Christopher Titus. And when I saw his first special, I was blown away. I didn't realize you could do what he did with stand-up. He was just so open and honest and emotional and raw, and took all these true dark stories and made them funny. And like he had a whole thing about his mom committing suicide, and I'm laughing the whole time he's telling the story. And I was like, I didn't know you could do that. Like I'm sitting here thinking, oh, set up punch, take my wives, please. And the fact that he was able to take these true kind of scarring stories and make them funny, I'm like, anybody who can't figure out how to do this is lazy, because clearly you can do this.
Wow. Well, nothing funnier than your mom committing suicide, I'll tell you.
If you can figure out how to do that.
Yeah, but I'm laughing on the inside right now. I'm chortling.
Do you ever watch Welcome Back, Kotter?
What's that?
Did you ever watch Welcome Back, Kotter?
Welcome back.
There's an episode where Kotter becomes a comedian, and he has this agent, and the agent's whole gag is like, Kotter will tell a joke, and the agent's like, "That's hilarious. I'm laughing right here, right here."
Oh, I think I saw that. Yeah. Oh God, no, I'm hysterical. Seriously, go on. Yeah. Okay. Come on, my baby. Come on, honey. Oh man.
Well, so this thought, how we've been talking about sitcoms earlier, just popped into my head. What do you think about animated sitcoms? In my opinion, animated sitcoms kind of creeped into that live realm.
Yeah,
I'm talking about like BoJack and The Simpsons, Family Guy.
If you go
Rick
back and
Morty.
watch those first 4 seasons of The Simpsons, it's a family show. It's like just like another family sitcom. Everything is so kind of relatively grounded in that universe. They don't really introduce the sort of rubber band reality until season 5, I think.
Yeah.
So like those first few seasons, it's all about family issues. So it's that, and they took a bunch of kind of like sitcom writers for that. Those first few seasons, and they all write. I mean, Jay Kogan was on the early seasons, and he's told me before, we're just writing a family show.
Yeah.
And Family Guy, it's in the name, but also Family Guy, he got compared to Archie Bunker a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then I mean, like in theory, every show is a family. It's some sort of family, whether it's like the nuclear family, mom, dad, kids, or the people you work with are your family, or your friends are your family. So, like, you can't escape this concept of family on television.
Mm-hmm. Modern Family.
Modern Family, yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I was in a play with Ed O'Neill.
Oh, which one?
I was a kid. I was in 7th grade or 6th. He was a senior in high school, and we were in the Catholic school story. Since you asked, surely you've seen it. No, I'm just kidding. No, it was something that was written by one of the nuns. And they decided that it was a little play, and they went to Channel 27 in Youngstown, Ohio, and said, "Would you like to? Can we put this? Can we do?" And they said, "Sure." And so that was my big TV debut with Ed O'Neill of Modern Family.
Of Married with Children.
And Married with Children.
I mean, because somebody was just telling me a story about Ed O'Neill's theater days. That's why I was like, "Oh, which play were you in?"
Oh yeah. Oh well. Yeah, I guess they were his theater days, his very early theater days.
Yeah, because before he got before he got Married with Children, he was a theater guy.
Yes, he was. He was. He did a remake. I think it was called Knockout on Broadway, and he played a down and out sort of punch drunk boxer. And I guess that he made a big splash on Broadway. Everybody was very excited about it in Youngstown. Did you know that O'Neill's on Broadway? And we all kind of knew him as kind of a badass. You didn't mess with the guy. He was, first of all, he's huge, and it's just so funny because he's from Youngstown, and I joked, I've run into him a few times over the years, and I said, "So has anybody ever said they threatened to blackmail you, or else they start talking about what you were like as a kid?" And he goes, "I've gotten that." I go, "Yeah, me too." And so let's never talk about this again. Let's never bring this up. Okay, it's a deal. And so it's too late. I guess I brought it. Sorry, Ed. I'm sure he's clinging to our every word here.
If he's watching, Ed O'Neill, if you're watching, I want to say your scene in The Adventures of Ford Fairlane makes me laugh every time. When you start going into the Booty Town song, I can't stop laughing.
That's pretty good.
Booty Town.
Booty Town. My Rolodex is going along. I can't pull it up. Ford Fairlane, and that was Dice. Dice Clay.
Yeah.
Andrew Dice Clay. Whatever happened to that guy? He even had his own nickname, Dice.
Dice. I mean, Dice is always on the road. He's always touring, but Dice, you want to talk about a film career. Dice was in Blue Jasmine. which was nominated for a lot of Oscars. He was in the Lady Gaga A Star Is Born, which was nominated for a lot of Oscars. So Dice's film career is pretty good.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I didn't know that.
We'll have to get him on this podcast.
You got an encyclopedic knowledge, huh?
My brain is a sponge for the most useless film and TV trivia in the world.
It's not useless, though, because it's fascinating for me to listen to people like you who just can recall things like that. I mean, we were just at lunch the other day with these, like, old school Disney legends, and just the amount of knowledge that they have about Disney and, you know, who worked on what and who was involved with what. It's fascinating to me. I'm just sitting there like a literal child. I mean, you know, these people are like 40 years my senior, and I'm just like, wow, this is fascinating. You know, like, it's fascinating. I don't think it's a useless talent at all. I really don't, especially when you're in the industry. You know, like, you go to dinners and, you know, lunches, and if you're able to recall that stuff and, you know, bring up connections, that's what it's all about, right?
And if you get on Jeopardy.
Oh no! If I got on like regular Jeopardy, I would lose immediately. But if I got on like pop culture Jeopardy, maybe I might have a shot.
There you go. Absolutely. Why not?